Okay. I am Matt. I am your sergeant at arms. I will be doing my table, well, not my, excuse me, my icebreaker today, and I'm going to be passing the mic to our president, Latina. Um, Everything is in session.
All right. Now that's our virtual start. Hey, round of applause, round of applause.
Let's go.
All right. So, welcome everybody. I want to take this opportunity to say we are all excited about learning and becoming leaders in our Toastmasters. That's what this is all about. The quote for the week says, "The buried talent is the second sunken rock on which most live strikes and founders," by Frederick Williams. Our word for today, bear with me. I don't think I'm going to be able to say that word correctly. Someone help me. Derelict, abandoned, especially by the owner or occupant, run down, lack sense of duty. Powerful word. I definitely don't want a derelict to occur as we continue to build our leadership. I want to make sure that today all of our speakers are excited to give their speech, as well as all of our evaluators to give great feedback. Remember, this is our way of building our leadership skills. It is also our way to continue to think outside of the box as we begin to build to that next level. With that, I'm going to pass the mic over to our first speaker, Jesus Martinez, one we are all well equipped and know that he can do an amazing job. He is presenting his 3.3B speech. Let's give a round of applause.
Hello,
Woo.
greetings, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Wonderful. Today I am going to be completing speech 3.3B, which is a social speech giving praise to a person or a group, and the time limit is approximately 3 to 4 minutes. I wanted it to title my speech "Keep the Momentum." I would be derelict in my duty if I did not give props to Latina and this amazing leadership team that we have in Toastmasters. Toastmasters started about 100 years ago by a gentleman by the name of Ralph Smedley. Very smart guy, went to college, got out of college, and he realized, having the power of words, knowing when to say something and when to listen is the key to success. He founded the first Toastmasters in 1924, October 22nd, 1924. And for over 100 years, we have grown into 352,000 members in over 141 countries, and we currently have over 16,000 clubs. And what Latina has done with this group, with this transition, you see, leadership is about being adaptable. The key to great leadership is being able to take one set of circumstances and change them to another set of circumstances. And what happened last year during the pandemic is that our club was forced to transition from real world face to face meetings to a virtual platform where we have never done that before. We didn't have the processes, we didn't have the forms. The only thing that we had were great leaders like Latina, like all of these officers and Toastmasters that were true to themselves. They were not derelict to their principles. They stuck to their principles and they marched forward. There's a really great quote by one of my favorite authors, Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." We must always remember as leaders not to compromise our values and our morals. We must not be afraid of change, but we must embrace change. And that is something that the Ultimate Academy of Speakers has done time and time again. Not only were you able to reach 9 completed goals and reach President's Distinguished, but you were able to reach 10 distinguished goals last term. And you're off to a great start today as the new president of our club. Latina, Toastmasters officers, members, I wanted it to tell you to keep the momentum Do not be derelict in your passion for life, and keep that momentum and march forward, because the truth is that anything that you put your mind to is possible. Don't you ever forget that. It is possible. Thank you very much for your time, Adam Toastmaster.
Awesome job. Now, it really amazes me that all those accolades was in place and you were my partner. I do want to do a little bit of housekeeping while I have a chance. Jesus and any other speaker, please make sure that you email your evaluation or forward your evaluation form for your speaker. So that, for your evaluator, each speaker. Now, if it's an icebreaker, those evaluation forms, and Jonathan, you can correct me if I'm wrong. They're also in the Toastmasters general file. If there's an icebreaker that you're evaluating, our times, I'm going to make sure if you give me 2 seconds. Miss Shannon is our timer. Everyone, if you look towards the notes or our chat section, that's her yellow in the spot light, and she's going to have a green and red. Our icebreaker speeches are 5 minutes. So Jesus, yours was on a different level. What was your time limit?
3 to 4 minutes, just 3 to 4 minutes, because it's just a social speech.
That's what I thought. Okay, so see, I wanted to make sure that we were clear. So when you come up, since we do have a lot of icebreakers that are getting ready to happen, this is part of the part that I wanted to let everyone know today. As we are moving forward and creating the Toastmasters push for the next 12 months, we're really learning a lot about the expectations and what we need in order to be successful. So, with that being said, we want to make sure that all of our new members have their icebreakers in place starting in August. So, our very next meeting, if you're one of our new members, you will be doing your icebreaker for the next meeting. We're going to make sure that our VP of membership, as well as myself, reaches out, and anyone else on the leadership team should be touching bases with you throughout the week to just ensure that you're ready. We have two brave souls today who are getting ready to step up to the mic for their icebreaker. And if you guys had a chance to look at the agenda, you'll see we have Matt McLaren, who's coming up next for his 1.1. His evaluator is Francis, but I know that Francis had a little bit of a delay, so I'm going to shift the schedule just a little bit and ask Miss Franklin if she'll step up and allow Amber to be prepared to evaluate you. Are you ready?
Of course.
Awesome, awesome. And once we transition, I'm going to pass the mic over. But once she transition, I'll give you guys also a little bit of the feedback from our TLI, which is our leadership training that we have. Every one of our leaders have gone through the Toastmaster leadership training, which is part of our first step of becoming President Distinguished. And I just want to give you some good feedback on what outcomes came from the TLIs that we participated in within the last 2 months. With that being said, Miss Franklin, the mic belongs to you.
All right. Hey, everybody. And I am going to do my icebreaker for you guys. I know I was told it was 3 to 4 minutes. So, but that's all right. I'm going to try to expand and expound as much as I can. So, my name is LaShanika. Most of you know me as Nikki, but others call me Elegance. Now, that is not just a nickname. That name is on my birth certificate. It's my middle name. So, it took me a while to grow into that name, but I like it now. So now I'm encouraging others to call me that as well. I'm originally from the west side of Chicago, and I was raised by my grandmother and my aunt. When I was raised by my grandmother and my aunt because my mother, she enlisted into the army. Um, and I think I was 3 years old when she went into the army. I had no relationship with my biological father, so I suffered from many issues like abandonment, rejection, even living in a house full of family members. I faced challenges like molestation, and growing up, I faced physical abuse in relationships. I also became a teen mother at the age of 14. Just being a child myself, I looked for love in all the wrong places. I dressed provocative for attention. I became very sexually active and I indulged in alcohol. Sex and alcohol became a getaway for me, it became an outlet. I also smoked cigarettes as well. All of these series of events caused me to fall into deep depression and anxiety. These issues also caused me to hurt others. As the saying goes, hurt people hurt people. After hitting rock bottom emotionally is when I knew something had to change. By this time, I am a mother of four, and I was married at the time. But I knew it was something in me that had to change because my children also faced these same battles with me. So I actually had to get healing for them as well. So I sought counseling, which it helped to a certain extent, but it often seemed that I had on a mask. I wasn't completely healed. I felt more like I was covering up some pain that was there because even though I would feel like I was okay on the outside, my insides would be burning for more and trying to understand why I faced some of the issues and why did I still feel abandoned? Why did I still feel rejected? So all of this caused me to just create a deeper relationship with Christ. I grew up in the church, but my relationship wasn't rooted with God. I went to church, like I said, but I didn't know that He was someone who actually came to live within me and to teach me things and to show me a different life. Growing in my relationship with Christ, and actually, this happened really when I went through a divorce. Like I said, it was emotional hurt that caused me to really challenge myself to become healed and become a better me. So, going through this divorce, I had to grow not only physically, not only financially, not only mentally, but spiritually as well. And that did not happen overnight. If you know that growth, you never stop growing. You need room for growth. You have to continue to grow. So I'm still in a growing process every day. I want to see a better me, a different me, a deeper me. So as going through this journey of healing and wholeness, I found my purpose and I desire now to help other women and children who have faced challenges that I have faced. So I started a non for profit organization when I stayed in Chicago. I found out though with a non for profit organization, you cannot create generational wealth. I wanted to expand and expound, not only just for myself, but also for generations to come because the same thing that happened to me happened to generations before me. So I wanted to change that. So now, me being here in Florida, I transitioned to Florida. I moved to Florida by faith, literally, to pursue ministry and to pursue my destiny and purpose. Now I am a certified life coach, and I want to build a center, a community center to help women and children and build a safe haven for families so that I can assist and encourage them to also build purpose in their pain. And I no longer now feel like a victor, a victim, but I'm a victor and I'm an overcomer and I want others to overcome. I also wrote a book titled God Makes Beautiful Things because it felt like I came out of the ashes, right? You come from a deep, dark place and you come out. So now I want others to come out. I want them to feel that same victory that I felt. And discovering my identity in Christ that has had me free from toxic issues, toxic relationship, and self sabotage. And like I said, I just want to see other women free. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here at Toastmasters to be able to become more articulate with speech and not take myself out of it because I want it to sound like me because I believe that I'm called to people who sound like me, but to even be able to deliver more and to have divine connections with others. And I'm loving it so far. I'm enjoying this. I'm ecstatic about where this next chapter is taking me in my life. And like I said, I'm just happy to be here. And that's it.
All right. Now, the only takeaway I have is we will need to cut our cameras on if we're speaking. We have
Okay.
to cut the camera on. Trust me, it's one of my weakest links. As your president, I don't mind sharing, but we have to cut it on. I have to get over it. You have to get over it. We have to be in the camera.
I
Now,
don't mind cutting on my camera, but we can transition.
I got you.
So,
I got you. Understood. Understood.
so
And and that's not a problem, but just wanted to just make sure everyone knows as they're building the competitions, as we get ready to get more engaged with what they're doing with Toastmasters International, we all have to get more confident and comfortable in front of the camera. I'm not fussing by no means, just making sure that we're aware. And I think that your icebreaker was amazing. It was everything that you expect for someone to be able to share in the position or in their comfortable position to share it. And I think the derelict that you went through when you were going through your transition, um, I think if you change that word of the week and apply it to how you used it in your speech, that not only did you overcome that, but you were able to create more of a vision for a future for other generations. And I thought that was amazing. So, cool beans. I guess your evaluator's coming. I want to make sure I do a little bit of housekeeping to talk about TLI really quick. Diane, your hand is still up. Did you have a question?
I put it in the notes. I just wondered if you called in your guest.
She wasn't able to make it today.
Okay.
And let me just let everybody know there's a lot of buzz about our Toastmasters team. What Diane was just speaking of is that we literally have all of our outside departments really looking to mimic what we're doing because of the ability to learn so many different communication styles, as well as being able to create a stronger leadership transition. They're watching what we do. So I encourage and I implore everyone to just stay as engaged as possible because we are the leaders that are setting that foundation. So, with that being said, a little bit about the TLI is that we're now, with all of our leaders, we were able to kind of learn new techniques that they're trying to implement with the virtual platform. So, I just want to encourage that everyone takes an opportunity to look at the District 48 website. It is in our Toastmasters general details when you log in into your teams. Everybody in this meeting should have access to Teams. If your dues is paid by UMA, you should have access to Teams. Use that resource so that you guys can learn a little bit more as we become more acclimated with the virtual platform. You never know if they'll be using us to be teaching others in the corporate level how to be a strong club. And I definitely wanted to share that that was the feedback that they had given as we continue to grow from the TLIs this weekend. Hopefully, that gave a little bit of time for Francis to jump on in here and transition us right to our next icebreaker, Matt McLaren. The mic is yours.
Okay. All right. So let me see. Okay. So I recently got the inspiration to share this story with you because I was recently asked the question, when in my life have I ever spent money on something that I regretted? And I thought about it. I thought long and hard, and there was never a time that I really spent any money on anything that I regretted. But there was this one occasion where I spent more than I anticipated on spending, but I felt it was well worth it. So um, I want to take you back to 2007. I was invited to my brother's wedding. We were going to Jamaica. We were going to Montego Bay, Jamaica. This is where my family is from. So my family is not from Montego Bay, but my family is all from Kingston. But this is my first time going to Jamaica to see where my family is from, to see the country that my family is from. So to me, I was hyped. I was like, this is like going to the motherland for me. So it meant a lot to me to actually be able to, because I was raised in the Jamaican culture, uh, here in Florida, in New York. I was raised on the music. I was raised on the language, the dialect. I was raised on the culture in many ways, but I had never experienced the actual culture in that element before. So to me, going to Jamaica was very big for me. It was very life changing. So once we get to Jamaica, we get a tour guide. The tour guide is taking us around. Telling us about the different areas and the history behind these different areas, and we're just taking it all in. But my favorite part was the craft market. So if we can think back to when we were in the office, if you could think of all the sizes of the cubicles. So imagine half a football field full of about 7 foot high cubicles full of mass souvenirs, keychains, everything that you could think of, souvenirs for tourists. So that's what's at the craft market. And I must have walked through about 20 of these little cubicles looking for what I was looking for, because before I got on the plane, I already knew what I was looking for. I was looking for something carved, something wooden and carved in the shape of the island with all of the parishes. So Jamaica doesn't have states, it has parishes. So St. Andrew, for example, is where Kingston, Jamaica is, and St. Andrew is the parish. So I'm going through about 20 of these things looking for what I'm looking for, and I'm not finding it. So a young lady walked up to me. I still remember her name. Her name was Aisha. She walked up to me and she asked me politely, she was like, what y'all look for? Meaning, what am I looking for? And I told her what I was looking for. And I'm walking around and I'm like, I'm not finding it anywhere. So she said she'll have it made for me. And I'm like, that's cool, but we're on a tour guide and I don't think we're coming back here. She said, she asked me, what hotel are you staying at? And I tell her the hotel, and she said she'll bring it to me. Now, maybe I'm a little bit of a pessimist, but I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to get what I came here for. I'm like, there's nobody going to go out of their way like that. So we go back to the hotel. Then I get a call to the room. She says she has it. And I'm like, cool, I'll meet you in the lobby. She caught a cab to the hotel to bring me what I asked her to make. Now, when she got there, it was smaller than I anticipated it being. So, for everybody that can see, this is what she brought me. And this is smaller than I anticipated. I spent 40 American, about 1,500 Jamaican, which is equivalent to about 1,600. Well, excuse me, equivalent to about $60. But even though it was smaller than I anticipated, I was happy to give that money to her because she fought so hard. She went so far out of her way to make sure that her family was able to eat. She went so far out of her way to have an honest living. And I will never forget that experience, because growing up, I always saw a different work ethic, a different sense of humility in my family growing up. And I always felt my upbringing was different from my peers who had been born and raised here. Even though I was born in Queens, I felt there was a difference between the culture I was raised in and the culture they were raised in. And what this experience taught me was it was bigger than my family. It was bigger than the principles that were in my family. It was something embedded in the culture. And I know Jamaica has this reputation outside of tourism of just being a very derelict society, um, just a third world country. But that work ethic and that strength is just there, and it felt to me like I came home, even though that was my first time being there, and that was very life changing to me, and I just wanted to share
Awesome. I got to remember to cut the camera on and cut the mute off. What an awesome icebreaker. So many different levels there. I'm not your evaluator, so I'm gonna hush, but I definitely want to make sure that everyone is filling out their evaluation forms. Part of our major pieces as we become managers. If you're in here, your goal is to manage something. Your goal is to transition into some type of leadership. You will be evaluating. You will be doing one on ones with employees. You will be helping them build better communication skills, better leadership skills. That's what this is all about. And every icebreaker is different. Every icebreaker is unique. As you visit, maybe now to more virtual clubs, we used to drive to a few clubs, you'll see that there's different dynamics in every Toastmasters club, but the opportunities are the same, meaning the goal is for you to build the skills that you may be weak on, as well as to put you in a position to use your strengths to help others. So I just want to implore everyone, make sure you do the evaluation. Make sure that you're preparing yourselves to participate as we continue to build this. So with that being said, wanted to make sure that we have a few moments to get our table topic master in place, and that will be Mr. Jesus Martinez. Passing it back.
Hello, everyone. So I am going to be your table topics master. Is that what you just said?
Yes, that's what that agenda says.
Thank you so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick my first person. First of all, I wanted to really just compliment everyone that's here. I really appreciate you showing up to these meetings. I always tell one of my favorite expressions is the world is run by those who show up. So all of you showing up today, it's just a pleasure to see all of these faces. Now, does anyone want to volunteer and raise their hand to do the first table topic question? We have any volunteers? Jonathan. Okay, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. I saw Diane as well. So let's do Jonathan first. I just love the improv abilities of Jonathan. And so I feel like Jonathan is like a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get with him. So, Jonathan, from 1 to 10, please give me a number.
I'm gonna go with Mr. Jeter's number 2.
Oh, yes. That's good. Who do you sometimes compare yourself to?
Oh man, who do I compare myself to? I would have to say I would compare myself to my father. My father died 5 years ago. All my life, I was compared to that man. I look like him, just without the nice brown skin color. But you got the hair, you got the moves, you got the. My dad, they used to call him Suave Mike. So my dad was just smooth with everything. But the most important thing that I like to compare myself to is my father always tried to challenge me to better myself, that I didn't have to make the same mistakes he did, and I didn't have the same walk of life that he did. So I'm always constantly comparing myself to how my father challenged me and what he provided to me. So if I will always compare somebody, is to compare how my father was and his upbringing and what he offered me, and be able to continue developing as a person, being able to be family oriented and to continue growing. And you guys see what I do day in and day out. But the person that I really look up to and I always compare myself to is my father, because he's just set such a wonderful example for me and where I'm at in my life. Thank you so much, fellow Toastmasters.
Thank you very
Hey.
much, Jonathan, for sharing. And I'm sure that he is very proud of the incredibly kind, intelligent, and giving person that you have become. Now, I did see Diane also raise her hand, if my memory is correct. Diane, does that offer still stand?
Yeah, that's fine. I like to speak.
Can you please give me a number from 11 to 20?
Let me do 9. Oh, 11 to 20. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I, I heard you, but I didn't hear you. Let's go with let's just do 20.
20? Okay. Which activities make you lose track of time?
Woo! The activities that make me lose track of time, I have several. I enjoy driving really fast. That is one. I can definitely get lost in some good music and a car ride. Exercise. I have been in the gym since I was 11 years old. When I walk in that door, that's it. Everything else is just behind me, outside somewhere. I can work out, get in my own headspace, clear my mind. If I've had a challenging day, it's kind of the place I like to go for peace, actually. And I love to wear headphones. That way, there's no outside noise interrupting my mind, just getting that peace and clarity. The third thing that I can lose time doing is artwork. I've been an artist since I was a little girl. I thought that's what I was going to do for my job. I really wanted to work at Disney. I think that sitting down, having an idea, and painting it onto a piece of paper or a wall, or building something that maybe was unthought of to be able to be built, those things can definitely make me lose time. I would like you all to find something that gives you that type of peace, that you don't have to look at your phone, you don't have to look at the clock. You can just dive in, relax, chill, and lose track of time. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Diane. And those of you who don't know Diane well, she is just really cool to know. She knows a lot of stuff, especially about martial arts, weightlifting, cross training. So she's just someone that you want to be friends with if you want to get in shape. Just a little tip for everyone. So I wanted to go ahead now and ask if anyone else wanted to raise their hand and volunteer. If not, I'm going to probably make someone uncomfortable and pick someone randomly. Any volunteers? Okay. So, oh, yes. So actually, I was going to pick Latina anyway. Latina is a really good improv speaker. I love having her by my side, especially when we're having meetings and we have that awkward silence and we just need someone to save the day. Latina is one of the best improv speakers I've met at Toastmasters. So, Latina, I was going to ask you if you could do me a favor and please pick a number between 30 and 40.
Oh, I'm gonna go with 40. That's my number. Yeah.
Would you rather be a worried genius or a joyful simpleton?
I have to think of what a Templeton is. What is that?
A simpleton, I would imagine someone who is, more
Oh,
uh,
simpleton. I was thinking
simpleton.
you were saying Templeton, like off of Charlotte Webb.
Yeah.
I was like, are they talking about the mouse? Wait a minute. Okay. Would I rather be, one more time, give me the question.
Would you rather be a worried genius or a joyful simpleton?
Well, when I think about a joyful simpleton, it seems to be more of my style. I think when I look at life, I see it half full rather than half empty. I take a lot of time trying to make sure that the things that I do allow me to enjoy the life that I have. So to worry would cause me to be uncomfortable, unstable, and it really would probably weigh me down. Only because to worry means to not have faith, and I'm not really built that way. Doesn't mean I don't have those moments, but simple life is the route that I usually choose, especially since I know that our time is so limited, so precious, and so valuable. So for me, I'd take the second one. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much for that wonderful improv speech. I loved it. Do we have time for one more speech, Latina?
We are at the three. We have one more that's available. Let's get it in.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pick on Francis Smith. Francis, can you give me a number from 60 to 69, please?
Okay, there we go. I was just like, mute. Where's the button? All right, and then my camera.
60 to
Okay.
69. Pick any number between 60 and 69, please.
Let's do 62.
If it all came back around to you, would it help you or hurt you? So if it all came back around to you, would it help you or hurt you?
That's a really good question. If it all came back around to me, would it help me or hurt me? I think it would help me. I try to live my best life and not cause any disturbances or ill feelings with the people that I interact with. I believe in karma. I know that if you treat people with respect, you are putting out that great karma into the world for some day to be treated the same. I want to say that when I do something that may hurt others, I try to make amends and take responsibility so that I am able to, I guess, cleanse my soul, you could say, to make sure that I'm letting people know that even though I'm very frank and blunt and outspoken about things, I don't do any of that with any ill intentions. So I think it would help me in the future.
Terrific responses from all of our brave table topic speakers today. Madam Toastmaster, I turn the meeting back over to you.
Thank you kindly. Thank you kindly. Someone told me once before. All right. So, with that being said, we're at a spot where things are transitioning where we get to give a little feedback. Sometimes we take the good with the bad, but that's also how we improve. We also want to make sure that as the evaluator, that you're reviewing what the outline has in place and watching the time limit. So Shannon has the green, yellow, and red. And for your evaluators, the times are also in the chat box, but I believe you have a 2 to 3 minute window. Just make sure that you watch the colors. And Shannon, try not to use a blend color of green and yellow so we'll know exactly which color we're on. And that's for any time. And when you step up, we want everybody to step up in certain roles. Make sure that until we can get a consistent one to provide across the platform that may be a little more unique, let's just make sure that we keep solid colors. With that, I'm going to go ahead and turn the mic over to our first evaluator for Jesus. I believe your evaluator is Diane Greenhall.
Hello, I'm back. All right. I want you all to understand the series I have witnessed with Jesus and his speeches from day one through his competent communicator path into pathways. We are now so far with Jesus. I've seen him do speech contests, I have seen him lead meetings. My evaluation to a new person may seem a little harsh. I am going to go into this evaluation so that you all can understand. I have seen some of the best work ever from Jesus Martinez. This speech is a speech of praise. It is a public speech giving accolades and praise. You have excelled over and over and over, plugging in the grammarian's word of the day, doing your vocal variety, using physical movements and quotes and stats. You excel at these things, Jesus. You can give grandiose gestures, you can move forward, you whisper, you get loud. I feel like at this level of a speech, you barely skated in the 3 minute mark, and I have seen you come in at the sweet spot, right in between that middle ground area. I would like to see you slow down. This speech felt a little rushed. I know that you want to move up in your levels, but I don't feel this was one of your planned speeches. When you plan a speech, you wow us, and I mean slay us. Come with a cigarette in your pocket and throw it out there like, what? Where did that even come from? You remember that speech, Jesus? I remember that speech. I've seen you with a butterfly. I remember that speech. This speech, yes, you gave praise, you used quotes, you used stats. It was not your best because I have seen phenomenal speeches from you. That being said, because we are all human, I've had some really good ones and some really rough ones. You have one more to this particular speech path of public speech. I want to see that next one. I want to see it in true Jesus. I'm competing skill planned with a wow opener, your body, and that crush 'em killer ending. I also want to see you in the sweet spot because I know you can get right in that middle area and lay it down. You see what I'm saying? Hey, I know you see what I'm saying. This was a good speech. You gave your praise. Let me go through what the evaluation is asking. Spoken language, is it clear? Is it easily understood? I gave you a 5. Use of tone, speed, and volume, I only gave you a 4 because, like I said, it was a little bit on the fast side, but your tone was spot on. You're great at that. Just slow down a little bit, but I know that when you have really practiced, boom, you've got it. Eye contact, 4. Physical gestures, 4. Demonstrates awareness, 4. Comfortable, 5. Audience interest, 4. Content fits the topics, 4. And I'll send you the evaluation. Thank you so much.
Awesome. That's what happens when experts evaluate experts. Um, I'll leave that right there. At the end of the day, we are all in transition. We are all growing, and you have to know the history between those two. Don't let anybody in this group feel intimidated. They are really builders, speaker builders. That's what you've just witnessed. So, I'm excited that the feedback was given. It was very clear. I'm going to go ahead and make sure, remember that Shannon is showing the colors in the chat. So if you're speaking, take a look to make sure you stay on that time. And remember, guys, the time even plays a position as you're becoming stronger leaders. When you're in front of our directors, you got to make sure you're addressing the points and keeping it moving because they have consistent things in motion. When you start speaking in your team meetings, you only have a certain amount of time. So the times kind of help us manage that, as well as making sure that if you do step up for competition, you're ready. Let's go ahead and take our next evaluator. That will be Miss Amber Costo.
Hey guys, good afternoon. How are you doing today? I have the pleasure of evaluating Miss Franklin. First and foremost, amazing job, especially for your first speech. I mean, you really came out of the gate swinging. I found your speech to be very personable, and with the pain that you overcame, you were still able to discuss the matter without it, affecting you. You held your composure. And some individuals, when discussing painful matters, it's hard. It's hard to translate and, keep your emotions contained. So you did really well. I heard the passion and the conviction in your voice. So excellent job there. And also, you painted your story from start to finish incredibly well. I was able to visualize what you went through as a young child, what you experienced as a new mother, your journey for spirituality. I was able to see that, and that's amazing again for your first speech. You also did well pacing yourself. You didn't speak too fast, you didn't speak too slow. And that's another great quality, especially for your first speech. It's something that is hard to master, really. and then finding your rhythm when you were speaking. Um, a few takeaways. Next time, let's use your video camera, because I would love to see from you, because you have so much to say and you have so much in your heart. I can only imagine with that, with your speech, seeing you use your body language to convey your message. Your hands, certain gestures, and eventually when we're able to walk around, that impact. Also, vocal transitions. You know, I you were pregnant at 14. I was pregnant at 14. This is what I went through. Talk softly. And then I overcame this. So with that, I did it, a sense of you hear me, um, just to express and express your points and then reiterate your points even more, reassure and reaffirm. Um, but overall, you did an exceptional job. I gave you a 5 for clarity. I think you, once again, you did an incredible job painting the picture and really giving us idea of what you went through as an individual and where you are now, from a young girl to an adult, which is amazing. Um, Vocal variety. You used a range of different vocal vocabulary. Excuse me, a wide range of vocabulary. So I gave you a 4. Again, I recommend using voice inflict to help express your points, certain talking points. Eye contact, unfortunately, I had to give you a 1 due to your camera being off. Okay. Gestures, again, I give you a 1 due to your camera being off. Audience awareness, I feel like the audience was engaged because I was paying attention to the chat box, and they gave you positive feedback. And then comfort level, I felt like you were comfortable talking about the topic, but at the same time, this is your first speech, so I gave you a 4. Because I would like to see again you do the speech with more body language, and really that way we can truly understand and feel the full effect of what you went through. And then interest level again, I gave you a 5 because I truly feel like the myself and our the rest of our members were engaged and interested in your speech. Overall, excellent job.
Thank you, Amber. Thank you
My
so much.
my pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you, Miss Amber. All right, we have one more evaluator. You guys make sure you pay close attention to the chat box. That's your time. We want to make sure that no one's eliminated as we continue to build to get you prepared for competitions. All right, so our third evaluator will be Miss Francis.
Hello, everybody. I have the pleasure to evaluate Matt. Very great speech. I really enjoyed the fact that you were able to connect with the story. You were there. You were telling us what happened, how it happened. I love that you were able to see the finish. We were able to see as the audience the finished product that you were speaking of. I also loved how you focused on the importance of what it meant to you and how the sequence of events really helped you connect to a part of you that you thought was just in your radius, but wasn't extended out to maybe those that come from where you come from. So I loved how you focused on that. I loved how you incorporated work ethic um, and your outlook on that. I think that one of the areas of opportunity could definitely be vocal variety, making an impact, creating drama with the timeline, um, especially at the part where you were like, I wasn't really sure if I was going to get what I came here to get. Being able to use your tone to really set that in place for the audience. I think overall, this was a great first speech. For clarity, you spoke clearly and you were easily understood. Vocal variety, I definitely want to hear some more tone and speed, or even changes in volume. Gestures, I like that you use just the props for the speech. That was very, oh, I lost the word for it. Satisfying to see that finished product. Oh, yes, he
Mm.
did get it. That's awesome. Audience awareness, I was extremely interested in your story and wanted to see where it went. Are you going to receive it? Are you going to find it? How is this going to work out? And how does this tie in with you and who you are as a person? This experience was really exciting. So, on camera, you appear to be fully comfortable speaking, which is great. And again, just the interest and audience awareness um, definitely were on point. So, thank you very much for that. And congratulations on getting your icebreaker done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Woohoo! Great evaluations today. Definitely think we got a lot in with new people getting a chance to use their voice. Like, I want to hear more. I'm excited for that level two. I'm going to push everybody for that next level for the feedback that you got today, being able to get in and make sure that you do it again so we can keep you moving on your pathway tracks. Jonathan has sent out the feedback form. Just wanted to remind everybody to take an opportunity to look at that. I also am sharing my screen on District 48 showing the full circle program. If you go into the District 48, I would love for you to make sure that you're tracking this. Everybody should be able to earn their pins within the next 6 months as long as you continue to participate. We want to make sure that these forms are able to be filled out and sent in to Sir James as you fill it out and get every circle completed. That way we can sign off and we'll get things in motion to continue to improve our participation and what it means to be in the Toastmasters program. Now, when you go to District 48, you can learn a little bit more about the PEN program so that you could definitely understand why we're doing it as well. Um, the next part is going to be our review of our meeting, which is our general evaluator. And then we'll probably email the times, ums, and ahs just because of our time limits for today. Go right ahead for our general evaluator, Jonathan.
Hello, fellow Toastmasters. All right. So I wanted to, there you go. There's my camera. I wanted to take about 5 minutes to let everybody know. I think that we are in a transition period, but I also think that we have a lot of area to improve. First of all, the meeting started on time, a little bit shaky. I think we had a little bit of hiccups there. And I just wanted for everybody to know if you're unsure about where to go to or your role of how to get somewhere, please reach out to me. I'm the one that set up a lot of the things that are on Teams, so please don't feel free to do that. I wanted to actually pull up the agenda real quick because we had just some wonderful speeches. I just want to share some things that I really, really enjoyed. One of the things that I wanted to mention was, and it's an area opportunity that we need to use, is that we're using the word derelict, as if I pronounced that right.
Derelict.
Derelict. So using the word derelict, the word of the day, Jesus did a really good job in identifying that. So I challenge you guys once the itinerary comes out, something that I noticed in our last meeting, something I didn't do in this meeting was to use the word of the day, which is derelict. All right. And I really, really, I'll tell you one thing. We are not lacking derelict here at UMA at all. We have just a ton of good things. I want to go down to our Toastmaster, Latina. Thank you so much for integrating and being able to do that. I love it. Jesus, you did a wonderful job. However, Diane, thank you so much because it wasn't his A game. I give him a B on that. So great job on that. Nika, I gotta say, I was really, really impressed. You had me like, I was like, wow, I could really like dive into her story and just kind of listen. It was like listening to the radio like for a baseball game for me. I really like baseball, so for you guys that are not baseball fans, I'm sorry. Matt, great job for turning on your camera and giving a speech. I am so happy about that. I am so ecstatic. Diane, I'll tell you what, from table topics to evaluator, you always set the standard. I love it. Francis, your pausing is getting better and better every single day. Your confidence level is getting better. And Amber, I got to say the same. You are just, it's just amazing. Like, I'm like, while the meeting was going on, I could see from like in the office to some of our meetings, we're getting more comfortable with our virtual platform. So give yourself a little bit of a pat in the back here. And just for our quote of the day, the burden talent is the sunken rock on which most strike and founder. So one of the things of this quote of the week is to really burden the talent, really get into it. So I just wanted to recap. We had a wonderful meeting. We are starting on time and ending in time. But for the most part, I think that we need to just work on a little bit of kinks. And if you need that one-on-one, please email me. I would love to sit down with you just to get you a little bit more familiar. And please, please, please vote. And number two, please fill out your feedback because we will be looking at that shortly after the meeting. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Okay, so that gave us 2 minutes. I guess we could definitely go through our times. And then from there, I just want to encourage that if there's any questions for how to navigate on the District 48 site, on the Toastmaster pathways, please make sure you reach out to me, Sir James, or anybody on the leadership team, especially the support that we get with Jonathan. We want to make sure that everybody's comfortable. With that, my timer is Miss Shannon.
Thank you. Okay, so we had Jesus at 3 minutes and 15 seconds, just a little bit over. Shanika at 5 minutes and 55 seconds, but great job. I hardly noticed. Matt at 6 minutes and 31 seconds. Again, great job, even though you went over. Yeah, I love travel stories, so that was that was just an amazing story. So Jonathan with 1 minute and 20 seconds. Diane with 1 minute and 31 seconds. Latina with 52 seconds. Francis with 1 minute 23 seconds, and those were the table topics. Evaluators. Diane, you went to 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Amber, you went to 4 minutes and 5 seconds. And Miss Francis, you went to 2 minutes and 44 seconds. So great job, guys.
Okay, it's 4 o'clock. I definitely just want to bring it to everyone's attention. Take an opportunity as you're preparing for your speeches to look at the times, look at the evaluators. We're all a team, we're all growing, and we're all learning. I'm going to pass it right back to our Sergeant at Arms to dismiss our meeting.
All right. And once again, this is Matt, and meeting is adjourned.
Awesome. If anybody has any questions or want to linger, I can hang out and we can discuss what's next. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great day.